This is supposed to be the easiest part. Oh, yeah. Reset. So welcome back to the Smart Software Buyer series. My name is Bijou Barry, and I'm the AI Principal here at G2. So in episode 1, we talked about what problem you were trying to solve and if you were ready to buy. Today, we're going to look at product maturity. We're going to cover point solutions versus platforms, how to run your own evaluations, and how to assess integrations like MCP connectors. So you know what your team needs, and now you're entering the buying process. And this is where you run into what I like to call the catch. How will this tool perform when it has to do your job and not the vendors? So a demo uses the seller's data, workflows, and ideal scenarios. And deployment is where the product meets your business, your exceptions, and your business complexity. So let's talk a little bit more about point solutions or platforms, right? So the difference between a point solution or a platform is really how well you evaluate what the tool actually is and how it works. Two products can promise the same outcome, but be very different underneath. A point solution, it solves one problem and usually really well. It's usually faster to deploy and quicker to show value, but it also may eventually hit a ceiling, and that's what you're assessing for. A platform is built to scale. It includes administration, governance, integrations, APIs, and permissioning. Neither is automatically better. The right choice really depends on your problem, your budget, and how broadly you want this product to grow within your environment. So now let's look at 3 signals. The first one is going beyond the core use cases. Point solutions often answer at the edge, right? And they answer with a roadmap. And platforms usually answer with architecture. So the second question then you want to ask is, who else is building on this? So platforms tend to have partners, integrations, and developers extending the product. And the third thing you want to ask is about administration before AI. If a vendor can demonstrate impressive models, or they can give you a great demo, but they can't explain audit logs or governance or usage reporting, you may be looking at a point solution wearing a platform badge. And this is really good information. During this process is when you use resources like the G2 grid. The grid plots 2 things: market presence and buyer satisfaction. What it tells you is where the market has concentrated and how the buyers who actually deploy these products feel about it. A leader on the grid is a real signal of maturity and adoption. It means thousands of buyers stayed long enough to verify whether this product works. But a niche player with a deep satisfaction in exactly your use case may be the smarter buy. So this is where the smart buyers actually diverge. They don't just buy the upper right corner by default. They really use the grid to shortlist. And then they use their evaluation of that product to make that final decision. And the grid really helps you narrow that field, right? It should help you make the decision that's best for your business. So now let's talk about running your own evaluation. Now it's time to actually figure out if this tool or this product is exactly what you need. So how do you test an AI tool before you actually buy it? You evaluate it like a new hire. You define the job, and then you place the system in realistic situations, and you watch how it handles the messy ones. So the first step is you define the skills, not the features. Features are what the vendor markets. Skills are what the work demands. For an AI support agent, you have to ask whether it knows when to escalate, retrieve the right information, or hand off when it doesn't have enough context, so that the customer doesn't have to keep explaining themselves and repeating themselves over and over and over again. Those are job requirements. And this helps you build the rubric that you need with the people in your organization who are already doing that work. And they usually know when these things break. Now it's time to test your work, not the vendors. Use your own data. Pull 20 real examples from your workflows, right? Include routine cases, but also cases with missing information, frustrated customers, or like policy exceptions. Those easy cases, they tell you where the product works. The difficult cases, they tell you what you're actually buying. And the third thing is really scoring behavior, not just answers. What you're assessing is what I like to call a skill-based rubric performance benchmark. And I know it's a mouthful. But what you're really trying to understand is how well the tool or the agent performs the skill that are important to your job or the business functions repeatedly. So now I want to talk about integrations, one of my favorite words, and a new player in the field, MCP connectors. There's more than one question that every buyer has to update when it comes to their evaluation of a new product or a new tool. And that's really, what does this product integrate with? With AI, the better question really is, what can the product do once it's connected? So Model Context Protocol, or MCP, is just like a USB-C for AI. It's a shared standard that helps AI connect to different tools or data sources. But you can't stop at just whether MCP is supported. You have to really ask, can the AI only read information, right? Or can it update records? Can it create cases? Can it send messages or modify data? How are permissions controlled? Are its actions logged? And when it happens, like when the connection is actually implemented, does it fail or does it attempt something it shouldn't without someone giving it permission to do so? So we've covered a lot today, but here's what I want you to remember. Your job isn't to decide whether the demo was impressive. Your job is to find out what's true for your business and to evaluate that tool with the same rigor you would your business. Know whether you're buying a platform or a point solution. Use the G2 grid to help you shortlist and to decide. Define the skills that you need the agent or the product to solve. Test your real workflows. Score the behavior under uncertainty. And ask what the AI can actually do once it's connected in your environment. Then run 5 of your hardest real-world scenarios through that tool, not just the easy ones, the 5 cases that keep your team up at night. Next time, we're going to talk about AI pricing and what it actually costs once that product reaches production. Thanks for watching the Smart Software Buyer series, and I'll see you in the next episode.